Heyo, what is up everyone? It is the Alpha J of the Alpha J Show, and let's talk OKKO, let's be heroes. Again. So this episode made it to my best of 2017 list, and I'm sure there are quite a few episodes on my best and worst list that I'm sure you'd want a full review on to know why it made the list. So let me know in the comments down below what other episodes. Today's shout out will be T-Blocks. They're a wonderful monthly subscription based service that send you a box worth of amazing merchandise, tailored to your specific interests. You go to their site and you give them your interests, and basically receive officially licensed merchandise or merchandise created by external artists. They work with Disney, Sega, Marvel, Nintendo, Nickelodeon, and so many more. And if you don't like the design of a shirt, or maybe the shirt isn't in your size, you can exchange it. They're 100% clear on that. And if you want to help out the channel, all you have to do is go down in a word when you purchase your own T-Box. So this episode starts off with Rad essentially about his mistake, but Rad rarely makes mistakes. In Rad's book, that is. And he plays it off as a work of genius, even referring to the incident as an unexpected nature of the fall. As the episode's title would infer, this episode is about Rad, and personally, it is my favorite episode about Rad. I like how they set him up to be very confident in his abilities to create a good video, even though there's only a certain aspect of the video that keeps people coming back. He's very happy just to make videos about himself, and I believe that is the most important aspect. He isn't doing this to be internet famous, primarily that is, and nowhere in the beginning of the episode would imply that. Yes, he is doing this for attention, but he was quite happy only sharing it with Enid and KO. Would he have wanted more people to see it? Of course, but it was never a primary concern for him, and I think that is what separates his character type from others in other series. He does have a sense of entitlement, and many people of his character type do, and he views himself as higher than the people around him sometimes, but in this episode, he never comes across that he wants people to kiss the ground that he walks on. Especially around KO, he tends to come across as the cool guy, at least to him, and that's pretty cool. Rad gets approached by the new teens on the block, and they talk about his latest video and the benefits.
I loved when you were all blorb.
Blorb!
So good.
Blorb! So is that like a Planet X thing?
Well, sure, but physical comedy is universal.
It is now that they ask, because Rad's an alien, if the phrase means something more. So apparently his video is taking off. What is he going to do with his newfound fame? And like nearly every YouTuber who has a video take off, or a huge influx in subs, you just watch the number go up. I'm not going to play the purist card.
Addicted to attention from strangers.
Yeah.
KO is so innocent, and to stay popular, he has to stay on fire. Her story is pretty relatable, as we've seen certain people who went viral try to catch lightning in a bottle twice, and it doesn't work out, or people who do one thing for a long time and want to switch it up, but it isn't as popular as their first choice. For some people, this is a real thing, and heck, to a certain extent, I can say that I've had themes of that as well. Take my Fairly OddParents videos for example. They generally do very well, and on two separate occasions, when I do talk about season 10 of Fairly OddParents, they are doing very well. However, I never felt the need to continue talking about them, as I never let a certain series define me. Sure, I could have gotten tons of views continuously bashing season 10, and sure, I'm not 100% done talking about season 10 due to some things that happened later on in the season, but I've seen people take what's gotten them popular and make more videos on it to the point where if that topic isn't popular, or it doesn't have that magic that it originally had, they kind of scramble to retain some kind of relevance, and receive or have as much relevance as possible. So because internet sensation, there is now a RadCon, with the year cleverly taken out and instead replaced with phrase,
I'm so happy to be among people who recognize my comedic genius and—
Say Blorb!
Right. That part was pretty sick, huh? But what really makes it funny is everything leading up to the blorb. For instance—
He said Blorb!
It is only now that it gets to the point where Rad realizes that it isn't so much of the fact that they enjoy the entire video down into a catchphrase, escaping the fan hysteria. He contemplates retirement, seeing as what he viewed was turned into something that he feels is unappreciated. However, a big stereotypic Holly Zone director picks him up to star in the big screens, and it is very important I say stereotypic. They go onto a set and we have Ian Jones-Cordy voice acting a part where he has to pretend that he's acting. Personally, in some cases I can see acting as if you cannot act, and yes, that could be a skill, do well, but there's a line where over the top gets too ridiculous, and that's one of my only gripes.
This is a pretty, repetitive script.
Unpopular opinion maybe, but I gravitate more towards OKKO a lot more than Steven Universe. I like both shows a lot, but OKKO and more like, here is something that happens, and we'll leave it to you to understand the rest. And for a child, sometimes walking them to the door of a situation is much better than telling them directly and exactly what they get. Heck, Enid would even question why other people would like it despite not knowing him. I mean, and this is an assumption, that his video is one across the many at Lakewood Plaza Turbo, so it would only make sense that he falls into the sea of videos and not get picked up because he did something that is funny, and because he's an alien, essentially getting boxed into being that thing, and that could be dehumanizing or de-alienizing. And seeing him try to find himself and see whether he should continue or retire while simultaneously being stereotyped by fans and manipulated by big media into moving their agenda truly brings out his limit. Rad is not the most humble, nor would he turn down positive attention on himself, but he does have integrity in this episode. He does believe that he's an amazing person, but he also believes that he should be treated as a person, and no amount of fame or money will sway him from that. That's truly admirable.
Thought I'd get to do more than just the basic alien stuff. I mean, I get it, but this all feels kinda stereotypical?
So as he shows, he isn't really okay with portraying himself as another cliche in Hollyzone. And although he had the part, he had the convention, he had the internet fame, he decided to not take up any more Blorp offers, and essentially gets recasted. Now, one thing about Rad is that he often doesn't want to portray himself as less, as shown here.
I just did some thinking, and I really
Clip clap. Blorp me up, blorpity blorp blorp. Ha ha.
Ugh, that is not okay. You really dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, that was something. So they decide to throw the DVD into a volcano, and that's probably the only other small gripe I have. I feel like that scene was dragged out and unnecessary. They could have ended it earlier with Enid's reaction. I don't really see the effect that this scene is trying to go with, and it kind of seems like a into the lava, and that was Everybody Likes Rad. As you can see, this episode is very good, and it deserves to be on the best of my 2017 list. I do think it is my favorite episode of OKKO so far, and one of the best of season 1. Again, let me know in the comments down below what other entries in my top best or worst list that you want me to cover, and I'll get right into it. Let me know what you think of this episode in the comments down below. Follow me at The Alpha J Show, and go other OKKO videos in this OKKO playlist. Make sure to subscribe, and feel free to consider my Patreon as always. I hope your time was well spent, and Alpha out.